Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me here. This is Michael Lanfield. I'm so happy to be here. And I just realized that I can actually record my video while I am actually doing the screencast recording, which is incredible. And I'm very happy to this program that I got. I can't remember what's it called, but I've used it years ago. And it's called, I can't really show you 1 second. It's called this one, A Power Recorder. And it's like really, really great A Power Recorder. And so I'm going to be recording a lot of these videos with this, my webcam, because it's just so cool how it can be done. And let's get into this video. I think it's very, very important that we do and realize that this is really what we need to be doing. We need to be doing the actual physical work. So this video has been sponsored by Evolution Diet Pet Food. If you need pet food for your companion animals, dogs, cats, or just any other animal, visit petfoodshop.com. Petfoodshop.com. Okay. And you can go to my page at weareinterconnected.com/sponsors to sponsor me or to donate one time or monthly, and I would really appreciate that. As well as, please do get my books. And by the way, my new book, Awakening the Good in Humanity, is coming out. Uh, there's a lot of work to be done, but it's going to be out probably January, February, March, something around there. So it's going to be a little bit of time, but be patient. And this new, very short book of about 50 pages is going to be released. Probably self published, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's get into this video right here, everybody. So, ultimately, we need people to do various types of work when advocating for a vegan world. And when we're advocating for a vegan world, we need two types of people. Now, we can all do our part, a little bit of each of these things, and whatever feels that we are called to do. And so, this website that I've created, I want to talk a little bit more about this because I don't think people understand the how important this website is. It's called World Vegan Community, and it's basically trying to do two things. It's not only telling us that we need to share a vegan message, share the vegan lifestyle, however you want to call it, the veganism, sharing veganism with the world, with as many people as we possibly can in various different ways. If it's talking about it with people through podcasts, through webinars, through social media, YouTube, Facebook, all these platforms, if it's through talking with people directly one on one or in groups or in classrooms or however we decide to do that. Now, not only do we share veganism with people, but we also, in another way, we create that vegan world. Now, when we are sharing veganism with others, we literally are creating the world. But let's not only create it within the context of the current society that we're living in, which is basically enslavement by governments and the elite people that really want to keep that hierarchy, pyramid, or ladder, or whatever you want to call it, that the hierarchy in place, where a few people on top dominate the other people on the bottom and even the people in the middle. And so I think the idea is to not only to share veganism with as many people as possible in various different mediums, but to also create this, I don't even like to call it alternative because it's a natural way of living. So going back to our natural way of living. ultimately. And this is done through the forum that I've created, World Vegan Community. I unfortunately cannot just do it myself, and I've been basically the only participant for some reason on this forum. I've created forums in the past for so many different aspects. I created it for I created it different music forums in the past. I've created all kinds of environmental forums in the past. I've created a lot of different forums and websites in the past. And this one is, I believe, kind of like a stepping stone on how we can bridge together these understandings and these ideas to build world vegan communities all around the world. So the whole idea basically with this forum is to get people understanding that the society that we're living in currently is not working. We've been trying to reform the system that we're currently in. We've been trying to reform the system for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and it just does not work. Now, once more and more people start going vegan and we start to not support the industry, the herding culture industry, which is really the foundation for the entire system that we're currently in. Some people like to call it capitalism, some people like to call it communism. It's one and the same, it's all the same basically. It's all part of this idea that we have the right to dominate other living beings, to see non-human animals as property, as things to be used. And we don't have that right. And that is what the herding culture is all about. And it's been around for about 10,000 years. But within probably the last 200 or so years, 300 years, it's been really drastically changed, especially after World War II when we started uh, industrial farming or factory farming. But again, like as I talk about in all my books, it's not factory farming that's the problem. It's all animal farming. It's all about seeing non-human animals as things to be used, things to be dominated, things to be used, property, uh, food, for clothing, for entertainment, for testing, for any product that has an animal ingredient in there, hidden, whatever, change the name of the ingredient to disguise it so that we feel that there's no animals involved. All this kind of stuff that we're doing to non-human animals, and then we ultimately do it to ourselves, because as we sow, so shall we reap. So, without getting into that, let's get into the next issue, which is so now that we know that we need to share veganism with as many people as we possibly can without, of course, burning out. So we need to pace ourselves. And we need, of course, to work on our own individual needs with meditation and with, saying all the positive affirmations and the gratitudes and all that kind of stuff. Then we start to realize that, okay, we also need to create this community, create this world community. And I like to call it a world vegan community. And vegan can also encompass all the other, I guess, steps of veganism, like Dr. Will Tuttle talks about, and all the other things that Mango Wudzak talks about in his books, like fruitarianism and Eden fruitarianism, and all the other steps getting there. And I talk about this in my book, Creating a Beautiful Light, Creating a Beautiful World, and ultimately that there is more steps. There, I expanded what Dr. Will Tuttle talked about, and understanding that there is more steps than just being vegan and being even deep vegan, because we understand that Eden fruitarianism, as I have talked a little bit about this in Food, Diet, Lifestyle, and Education, raw veganism and Eden fruitarianism, which is not the same thing, because Eden fruitarianism basically, and let's go there. One second here. I should have this added to my browser, but anyways. So fruitnut.net is the website of Mango Wodzak, and I want to just read you a little bit what he writes about Eden fruitarianism. This is kind of a little tangent off on this video, and I want to just actually, you can read this yourself. I don't have to read what's actually on the screen, but basically Eden fruitarianism is an extension of an ethical extension of veganism, embracing the ethics of respect, kindness, and compassion for all life. It actually goes further to actually respect plant life as well, and understanding that fruit is actually the least harmful of all foods to be eaten, to be grown and to be eaten, because we're not pulling out, or we're not cutting, or we're not doing any kind of physical harm to the actual plants. Even though, of course, as vegans, we know that plants and animals suffer, or I should say, the suffering of animals. We can definitely attest to that when we stab an animal, or when we step on a dog or cat's tail. We understand that there's some sort of harm, some sort of discomfort that the animal's, experiencing. But when we pull out a carrot or any vegetable from the ground, that is not the same as stabbing an animal. That's not the same as stealing from an animal. And so we understand these concepts. Now, what we don't understand ultimately with what Mango is trying to get at is that fruit is the ultimate goal, is what we should be actually doing. And to, of course, do our best in this, in that if we can, grow our own fruit. And if we can't, do the best that we can in this life to eat as much fruit as we possibly can. And I have a lot of videos on my radio program, Creating a Beautiful World Radio, where we talk to some vegans and fruitarians, and Mango Wodzak especially, and his wife, his partner, Kvieta. I talked to her a while back about this, and she's basically been fruitarian almost all her life. She's always wanted to be, but because of family and all this restrictions, couldn't. But at heart, she was a fruitarian. She wanted to eat almost exclusively fruit, and she understood the connection that the animals, non-human animals, do suffer, and how we're stealing their sovereignty and all that kind of stuff. So, ultimately, what I propose on this forum is, and what a forum is basically, is it has different categories. Some people call these categories forums themselves, but I like to just call them categories and subcategories. But ultimately, these categories, there's many different categories, and basically, of course, this forum can be definitely updated. It can definitely be, in time it'll be revised, and it'll be updated, and it'll be, as time goes on, we will learn. And this is what this website is all about. It's about learning and discussing and creating, not just on paper or on the internet, but creating physical communities, physical anarchy and non-conformity communities based on vegan and veganic values. And so there's not much. Again, for many months I haven't been working on this, because I've been working on books and I've been working on other things as well. But this is like the main thing that I'm going to be working on in the next several years, trying to create and work on this forum, as well as a physical community that I call Peaceful Village. And that's why the website is forum.peaceful-village.com. And so this is the website where we will be discussing and learning and building, right? So if you really want to help with this, if you really want to build physical communities or just learn and discuss with other people, we can do that here. We can do that here. And that, there's going to be more and more and more features and more discussions and more people joining as time goes on. Right now, we have only 14 members currently, and no one is actually has posted yet for whatever reason. If they can't or whatever it is, I'm not sure. Like, I'm able to post, I'm able to do everything. I've tested this out in test accounts and all kinds of things, and I'm able to post. I'm going to be doing more testing on this forum website within the next few days and weeks, and just working on this website. So it's in a work of progress. There's a lot of work to be done here. This is the World Vegan Community, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about that. That this is available for people. This is available for people to join, to create, and to build. So even though a lot of us, and one question I get sometimes from a few people that I got is, even though we're in the society, we are in this culture, we're in this, you can call it capitalism, whatever. We're in this society currently where we're in this unfortunate time of life, 2020, and we are ultimately we are in this predicament of this lockdown, this pandemic, whatever you want to call it, this lockdown with the COVID coronavirus. And we understand that my voice is getting hard. I don't know why. But we're getting to the point, and a lot of people see this, we're getting to the point where there are literally thousands upon tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people that are starting to say no. No to tyranny, to the governments and to the mainstream media. No to the oppression of human beings. There are even people going as far as saying no to the oppression of all living beings and to the environment. And so this is what World Vegan Community is all about. We understand that we're still part of this society. I'm still part of it. I'm using the internet. I am in a house in the city, or close to the city. And we are transitioning. The whole thing is that we're transitioning from this world, this society, to our natural way of living. So what happens ultimately, is that we understand that unfortunately we're in this predicament, and we need to transition to this new way of living, this natural way of living that we've always done, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. We've done. So let's do it through this forum.peaceful-village.com. Yes, I'll be putting the links down below. But that's it, everybody. And I'm going to be also trying out some things to get more people to join, but also to let's create this. Let's create a physical medium where we can bridge this, bridge this gap, or I shouldn't say bridge, but to bridge the transition from this current world, this current society, to this new natural world that we really want to live in. So let's do that. And I'm going to be posting this also throughout Facebook and other social media platforms, and talking a lot about it through YouTube. So the next couple of Creating a Beautiful World radio shows, we're going to be talking about this. How can we actually go step by step? What can we do to create this new natural world that we really want to live in? How do we get back to that natural way of living? So I want to thank you all for joining me here in this video, and I want to give you a big hug if I can, and I want to say thank you for being here and for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video, everybody. Take care.